This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today we are pulling out the big guns. Yeah. Wilderness Reclamation, Expansion Explosion. You know it, you've seen it, but the biggest thing about this deck is that there are a few ways that you can build it. One is highly interactive with a ton of counterspells, but while that deck is absolutely dominating the tournament scene in best of 3 Magic, I don't think that is the right deck for best of 1 ladder. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing for best of 1 ladder for this deck. It does have a few new cards. We have Jor-El Mwanvuli, Recluse, and Teferi, the Master of Time, as a little bit of a tag team to help build board presence and draw cards and be an alternate win condition, taking on cards like Ruined Halo and Necromentia, I think it's called. But really what we're trying to do is generate a ton of mana with Wilderness Reclamation and Explode, Shoot, Face, which most of you I'm sure know by now, but I've had enough. Had enough of Diamond 4. It's time to get real. It's time to do it. And in best of 1, if you play a version full of Negate and Mystical Dispute, you will be advantaged against ramp decks, but you will get run over by Mono Red. Mono Red is a bit over 20% of the best of 1 meta. Sacrifice, whether Mardu Sacrifice or Black Red Sacrifice, that is about, according to stats, like somewhere between 8 and 9% of meta, the second most popular thing. So those are super aggressive decks that will run you over if you're sitting there holding the gate, hoping to counter something. So what do I like? I like a combination. I like having 2 Flame Sweeps to catch up when the board is absolutely overflowing with dorks. I like having 4 copies of Brazen Borrower, because whether or not you need to bounce it to Fairy Time Raveler to go nuts, or you just need to slow the red decks down and bounce their Annex or their Embercleave, this will do the job. Speaking of those cards, Aether Gust, 2 copies. I usually don't like running cards like Aether Gust that might have no targets against certain decks, but this is part of the appeal of Master of Time. If we have a Master of Time, we can discard the Aether Gust and draw. Worst case scenario, we can always Aether Gust our own Uro and play it again when the opponent tries to kill it or exile it from the battlefield. Speaking of Uro, such a key card in this deck. Up to 4 copies for the best of 1 version, as that life and that ramp always seems to matter a ton. And 4 copies of your favorite Shark Typhoon or Sharknado. It's just a good alternate win con and a very fun card that people enjoy. Will CGB hardcast a Sharknado today? Stay tuned! Make your predictions below. Yes, no, maybe. Mana base. I was dying too much to Shocklands, so I actually cut a bunch of Shocklands from the deck. Only 3 Steam Vents and 1 Stomping Ground, because you can't take 2 for every single land that you play. This is part of the best of 1 sacrifice. In best of 3, I run all the Shocklands, no question. I started this deck with all the Shocklands, no question. Next, 3 Castle Vantress. This is because I don't have cards like Thassa's Intervention. I don't have cards that make use of all the mana from Wilderness Reclamation, except for the Explosion, and you could argue Shark Typhoon. But there aren't great ways to get ahead without Chemister's Insight, Thassa's Intervention, things like this. So I need something to do with my mana. So I have 3 copies of Castle Vantress hiding in the mana base to help me find the Explosion when I really need it. And then we have 2 copies of Blast Zone, more ways to sink mana, and another good sweeper-esque effect to also deal with whatever is troubling you permanent-wise. Effect that we can hide in the mana base. We run 28 lands because we need to hit every land drop, but the fact that we get to use 2 Blast Zone and 3 castles means our mana base actually gets to function in places where we'd normally need spells like Opt and Omen of the Sea. Getting to cut those from the deck helped me have more interactive cards. So that's why I think this is the build for best of 1. I'm going to try to put my money where my mouth is. I'm sick of Diamond 4. Let's fix it. Let's dive in. Let the exploding nonsense begin. Okay, on the play, interactive pieces and a shark and some mana. We'll give it a try. I wish I had a growth spiral or a reclamation or an explosion, but those will just have to wait. They'll show up. Give them time. Give them the triome finger. Is it mono red? Could it be mono red? Let's not fall behind. Let's have untapped mana available to interact with whatever their turn 2 robber of the rich runaway steamkin nonsense is. There it is. So I think if they kept a hand this slow that they also have an Annex. If they also have an Annex, that's better to bounce, and this is better to gust. Because the more expensive the card is you bounce, the more they have to pay to play it again. They keep this on top, huh? Biome. Alright, no Annex. Just a lot of love for the Steamkin. So what's their hand? It probably has a few, like, light up the stage nonsenses, right? And they just drew this Scorch Spitter last turn, because we know they drew the Runaway Steamkin this turn. Alright, let's get more islands and stuff. And we've got Ambush Shark, ready for spitting. The opponent might have a Bone Crusher Giant, but that uses a lot of their mana. A lot for a red deck anyway. If they have a Shock, that's a little worse. But it doesn't seem like they have anything. So we get to eat the Scorch Spitter. They play the Steams. Anything else? They light the stage. Yep. There's the Giant. We knew it wasn't far away. Alright. Let's make a big shark. We know this one's going to get hit by the Bone Crusher Giant, so we should just attack with it. Resolve that. Can we draw the goods? It's getting scary. We don't have a castle. But if we draw something like an Uro or if we draw an Explosion, we're in a really good spot. But our opponent has a ton of cards. So as soon as we start taking turns off, like if our next draw is just a land, we're in a really bad place. This got scary fast. On the bright side, our opponent is looking at a pretty tough turn. They have to get this up to 3 to play both sides of this. So they need a 1-drop spell or a land. Entering maintenance soon. What? What? That's not part of my recording schedule. They didn't clear this with me. And nothing else. Wow. And we draw a castle. That's a big draw. That is not a small thing. It will help us find what we need. No attacks. We're on the D now. The defense. God. Freaking weirdos. I hear your comments without you before you even type them. Yep. Yep. There it is. Like in Jurassic Park. Try again because we may as well. Another Borrower is probably fine for keeping us alive. If we even need it. Opponent might just be dead. Reclamation math. We play a land. 4 mana, cast the initial Explosion, right? So it's 21 because 3 and then minus 7. It's 17. So as long as we get to hit the opponent with the Borrower or the Shark, we can win the game. Our opponent putting the pieces on the battlefield. They're really holding on to their Steamkin because they feel like they need the mana battery. Didn't even offer a trade for it. And this has reach. Mark the end step. Keep it cool. Keep it cool. Opponent says if they have it, I lose anyway, and they're right. Have some cards. Pretty awkward hand for the red deck. They never really got going. The Brazen Borrowers and Aether Gusts did their job, and Explosion appeared after we found the castle to scry for it. Can I has Diamond 2? That's what we're playing this game for. 2 explosions that, I don't know. This is close to a mulligan, but we do have the Teferi Uro combo and we're on the play. Our opponent giving us the mono red eyes that are Chandra Nalar and the kitty. So they're easy mono red. I don't know if this hand is good enough, but we've been on a hot streak. Ride the hot hand. Courtesy sacrifice on our turn. Tin Street Dodger, will you be the one to end our winning streak? Don't play something good. Yeah. I will accept cards like Light Up the Stage. Alright, they have a Steamkin. Darn it. Okay. So this turn we might actually want to expansion on something. So we could hold back the Uro. But I don't like it. I think we're just supposed to Uro. Try to draw into some interaction. Where's the Borrowers at? That's a card. I don't know where the Steamkin will finish this turn at, power and toughness wise though. And we don't have a red source. Okay. Okay. Oh baby. No red. Alright, they didn't take a red source. They took a Blast Zone, which is a pretty good card too. There's a Brazen Borrower. Oof. Alright, I think I have to phase the Steamkin. I don't want the opponent to have the mana advantage, so I think this is where we play Teferi. And we're trying to draw into that red source. It's not it. So if the opponent's going to put a trigger on this Steamkin, we're going to phase it. Of course, they might also go for Embercleave. This does stop the Embercleave. Yeah, we're not going to phase it because they can still Embercleave. If they do, how much is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 3 more, 10. Okay, the Embercleave isn't lethal. Phase it. Rude. They get the mana bonus anyway. Should have done it on upkeep, I guess, if that was going to be the play anyhow. I'm getting worked on this one. We have a feisty mono red spotted, and we don't have a red source. If I had held on to the Fabled Passage, maybe things would have been different. Do we try to draw here? Like, what could we draw? There's nothing we could draw. A red source does kill them all, actually. So we will try. Hello. I guess we do it here so they can't... Well, if they have 2 spells to cast, then the Steamkin kills me anyway. Alright. Castle Embereth. So close to dead. Alright, we don't want to let them get into combat or they can cleave. They get 1 Bone Crusher Giant. That will knock us to 2. Did they draw Shock? They light the stage. It reveals a Fervent Champion and a Mountain. We can't target the Bone Crusher Giant unless we bring back the Uro. And we need to draw land to interact with it. But yeah, we bring Uro back here. Because if we target this, we take 2. And man, do we need to draw... We need to draw a forest... Like, we need a land off this Uro that's not a shock land. Badly.
My past is catching up to me.
Rip. The opponents took all our lands with Robber of the Rich after all. Alright, Mountain. Come at me, bro. Fervent Champion. Is it an Embercleave? We will see. It's an Embercleave. They drop. Ugh. For Xaxes. Oh, man. On the play with Uro. Let's do it. Let's go. Opponent on the double mull. Give the unsportsmanlike fist pump, as is tradition. Hey, better people than me have talked about it. 4-card hand. Definitely mono red, though, if they didn't concede, right? Mono green? Green food? I don't know. Maybe I know nothing, Jon Snow. Just the know nothing Jon Snow over here. Mutate. Mutate. Crazy. So now I'm like, I need to be present in this game, but I keep thinking about the last game, and if I had phased the Steamkin on upkeep, how I probably would have won pretty easily, and oh, it's torture, you guys. Mono red in my head, like a Cranberries song. It's in your head. Wow, just boom. Here's my 6/6. Discard my Ugin. Okay. Okie dokie. We got a gamer here. What do? I think we have to phase that thing. But then we lose the Teferi, right? And if we don't have the Teferi, the Moonvuli isn't as good. If the opponent starts mutating on this, that's how they get back in the game. We can make some 2/2s. I guess let them phase. If they mutate on it once, it's just one card. I think we can make it one turn. Because having this down and having the 2/2s start coming out, pretty good. Pretty good. And then next turn we can start the Teferi, the Great Teferi phasering. Easy block. Do you have a mutate? They would have played it first, right? Okay. I could slam a Shark Typhoon. Is that the kind of gamers we are? No. You all know me better than that.
If nothing else, I will protect the multi.
Discard a card. I actually don't think the Shark Typhoon's even very good here. You're out. It's a good card in slow matchups, controlling matchups, attacking planeswalkers. It's good when you have a ton of mana. I don't think it's good right now. I'll pay the 2 life, but I'm not sure that I'm actually going to find a use for this, but we might draw it into something with the Teferi. If we end up using the Teferi. If the opponent just wants to attack, fight a kitty, that's fine. But my plan is to phase the Sterix before they can mutate onto it. Our opponent has ramped into Sterix, but since then they haven't done much, and here it comes. If I phase this, they just have another 6/6 on the board. If I let it resolve, I guess first let's resolve this. Great Horn down. So when this creature mutates, exile cards from the top until you exile X permanent cards, where X is the number of times this creature is mutated. So they're going to get 1 permanent out of the deal. I think instead I'm going to plus the Teferi. Flame Sweep doesn't do anything here. And then they get whatever this is. It's a Sloth. Perfect. Playing with fire a little bit. I'm just feeling like I have to take some chances. Do we slam the Shark Typhoon now, CGB? Yes. Yes, we do. We have to start making very large sharks. We're definitely phasing something here, though. Probably this one. We can take a hit from it. What we really want to make sure is we phase before it gets to mutate again. Also, we don't want Gem Razor to kill us. I see. This is creative because now if they did draw Gem Razor, they can play it, and that would be bad. Yeah, let's phase you. They have an octopus. Wow. They ban a Nissa. They get 2. They get an Ugin? What? What? They drew into the octopus, which has flash, which got us around the Master of Time, and they drew a frickin' Ugin, and now we phase their Sterix. They get to keep their dang Sterix, people. It's okay, though. It'll be okay. It will be okay. Do we let them have this for a turn? If they draw another mutate card, it's crazy. What we can do is explode this for 1. And then have Aether Gust for this. I'm going to put them on not top decking perfect 1 time. You know, the right play, since about half of our deck is land, right? Our chance of drawing land is exactly 50-50. Let's do it for 2. Let's do it for 2. And then we draw land, and then we still have Gust. Told ya. Magic's easy. So easy, you guys. No. No. This is awkward for them, kind of, because they want their Sterix on top, but they really don't want their Goose on top very much. Alright, they're gonna make a food. And their octopus, yeah. And now they get to stack them. And now I don't know how they stacked them. I'm sure they put the Starix on top. And we have a Teferi, so that's okay. Alright, let's get the blue mana. Bring out the Uro. And then we play the Teferi to phase, to again prevent the mutation. We can decline this, and I'm going to. I think we have enough land. And this is so I can throw it, I can toss it with the Master of Time. And the opponent sees the phasing on the wall and says, okay. Scared myself there. Eugene is a very big Planeswalker dragon. This hand is slow. I have no idea though. It does the thing that this hand is so stupid. On the draw, this is a loose keep. I'm at the point though where I'm expecting my luck to turn. So maybe not everybody is going to play 1, 2, 3 drop. And it looks like this person has a Fabled Passage, so they're giving me a little bit of reprieve, but they get a mountain. Okay, Rakdos. Yeah, they could still run away with the game. Alright. So, what spells might they play? I guess if they played a Village Rites, I'd really want to copy it. So we will actually make expansion available. But my experience lately is, oh my god. Oh my gosh, they're gonna be one of those. Look how much touching they're doing. At least they're not touching my cards. Alright, Midnight Reaper. We draw Aether Gust. Pretty dead here. Let's go in for an Uro. Alright, we've got an interactive spell that we can copy. We've got Wilderness Expansion. We've got some stuff. And we're at 22. Our opponent has a Butcher. Of course they do. And they have more creatures to go with the priest. Alright, their draw just turned around. How do we get out of this? We definitely use the passage. We have one red, that's all we need. We'll grab more blue. Green, green. We'll grab more green. Alright, now the dirty parts. Let's see, blue, blue. I shouldn't have grabbed that green. I guess I can use the blue that I have in the pool to expansion on something now. And I guess the expansion target has to be the borrower, because our opponent only has one red card. So let's go with... Let's target a petty theft on the Priest of Forgotten Gods, and then they'll just sacrifice stuff now, but we can respond by targeting the Reaper. Let's target the Reaper, then the opponent will activate Priest. And then we respond to that with expansion. Because the opponent doesn't want to sacrifice the Reaper, I don't think. But we can bounce the Priest afterwards. Maybe they'll just say go. It's possible. It all depends on whether or not they really, really want to replay this Reaper. That's how they decide if they're going to sacrifice it or what. So, there's a sacrifice. The Reaper is still in play, that's fine. Now let's go expansion. And bounce the Priest. And so their whole board position is going to be wiped out. They're going to draw a bunch of cards, but they're going to have to rebuild from scratch. That's pretty much what we're looking for. We also get to save the Aether Gust. It might have to target our own Uro in response to a Claim the Firstborn. It also might be Shark Typhoon Hardcast if we top deck a land. That returns. Touch all my cards. Okay. Not playing the Priest. And we've got an Oven. Alright. This is going to be a challenge. Could cycle for a card, but I don't know if that's where we want to be. I think where we want to be is we want to explode this. I think that's next turn. If we're going to explode it, we can make a 6/6 Shark, but the opponent can steal it. And there's not much I can do about that. So I guess we're not hard casting that Typhoon. But we might use that as we might use it as an ambush. If we're going to do that, then we need the other red source. How much do we do? Let's just leave up the Gust. Forget about cycling the Shark. Or maybe we cycle for a 1/1 Shark. Yeah, let's leave up 3. Like that. So what does that leave us? 5? Wait, what? Oh, I accidentally clicked on my exile pile. That scares me. Also, very symmetrical. Exactly 7 cards get to hang out in our hand. Opponent didn't use the Oven. I guess they didn't want this to get exiled by Scorching Dragonfire. So here is a Mayhem Devil. That is a worthy Gust target. But we can shock if we're willing to give up 2 life to have another land on the battlefield. I don't think so. Let's protect our life total. Go away. Opponent's trying to put. Are you trying to put the devil in the oven? Like, what are you touching? What are you doing? They're touching cards, you guys. So, ever since I first started calling attention to this problem, I had no idea how passionate the community was about players touching cards. All right, this is definitely going to get claimed. maybe even multiple claims, but the life gain and the fact that we have a Brazen Borrower, I think that means it's fine. Uro. Uro. 3 more life card. I don't pay. I do not pay. Don't do it. Too cheap. Trying to protect that life total because that's how we lose this game, right? They cheese us out. I know you can also lose your game by not playing your spells the way you should, but just saying. All right. So, do we bounce this? That's the question now. I can double Growth Spiral on my opponent's turn or Growth Spiral and Shark Typhoon on my opponent's turn to make another blocker. So let's get this gone. We don't want the opponent to get to make a cat by stealing this. Touching the cart. I don't know if you guys can hear that. There is a seagull outside my window. People will think I've actually turned into croakies. Streamer jokes. Some people get it. Hit up the comments if you get my streamer jokes. Ooh, it's getting spicy in here. Let's try to draw a gust. I think we try to draw a gust here. No, we can wait for one more thing to resolve, right? Like, this alone isn't too bad. Being on the battlefield's okay. Alright. Are we really not... Are we not Claimer Gamer? What the heck? What is going on in this world now? Lend. Lovely. Ow. Okay, they go face. That's a nice break. I thought they might target the Joriel and try to get rid of it, but face is the place. And so now here we make a shark, right? We can make it a 1/1 shark. I guess a 3/3 flyer. I can still block with a borrower. Actually, you know what? Cancel that order. If we're gonna do that, let's do Spiral instead. This will make another 2/2. And we get a land on the field. And we get a borrower. We'll just hit our opponent with the borrower. Which they can kill, but hey. Now we have Master of Time. What are we gonna phase with it though is the question. We can also turn these into 3/3s if the opponent has the nerve to block them. I still believe they have a claim. So first things first, are you going to do anything about this attacker? I guess if they block with the Devil on a 2/2, I'm really happy to kill it, right? We'll send one. See what happens. It looks like bait. It probably is. Oh, okay. That's fine too. I mean, any creature off the board makes their priest a little worse. Alright, if we bring out the Uro, guys, we gotta be ready for it to get stolen. I have a Teferi Master of Time who can try to phase it. But we can also phase the priest. I think that might be a lot better. Well, if we're going to do the Teferi thing anyway, let's start there and see what we draw. Gust. We can save our Uro, everybody. That's another kitty. Here's the Uro. Do we put it on the battlefield? We're going to phase with the Teferi anyway, so this is fine. Let's add the blue. Resolve. Play the Borrower. Upkeep stop. Resolve. Pass. Phase your Priest. So if they use it, they have to get rid of their Devil. They also have to use the mana in their upkeep, which is considerably more awkward. And they let it phase. What do you know? I will put my Uro back on top of my deck. Second Priest. Alright. Do I make a 4/4? We get him for 10 next turn. Seems alright. The opponent can make food. They have a few ways to stay alive. And I guess if I'm going to start playing Uros, then Claim, I can't really get past it. My god, does this deck have damage potential if the Priest and the Devil are on the field. But at some point they have to start respecting my ability to attack them. Alright, last card is also a Priest. 3 Priests. Next turn could be insane. They're giving up one of the Priests right now to kill Teferi. Sure.
I'll just come back yesterday.
Double count. We should see what we draw first. I wonder if I want to try to scry to just find Explosion and end the game. I guess we attack first. Yeah. Before we keep with the castle. If the opponent sees me keep on top, they're probably... I guess it doesn't really matter because we kill them anyway. Yeah, we should try to find Explosion here. I'm just deciding about whether or not to try it before or after combat. Let's attack first. So the opponent gets a free block on one of the cats. They also get 2 life from the serrated scorpion. They have no other ways to gain life here, so let's just keep it in the air. They have no sacrifice triggers. Alright, can we find Explosion here? Shark Typhoon's not terrible, but it's also not lethal. But all we gotta do is survive a turn with multiple priests on the field and we'll be okay. Alright. Let's bring out an Uro, I guess. They don't have a claim. If they draw one, that's pretty bad. Actually, it's really bad. But a sacrifice trigger kills a borrower. Alright. Alright, add the blue, resolve, scry, right? Or maybe we're just supposed to hold all this mana open. Let's just hold it. Who knows where this turn might lead. It's sure to be a tough one. See, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage on my opponent's side right now. And it starts with this one. Alright, they're targeting the borrowers. They're trying to stay alive, they're not trying to kill me. That's good. That's a good start. And before they do anything else, let's see what we would draw off this spiral. We might draw it into a gust or something that interacts with them. And then, do we play a large shark? I don't think we need a large shark. But it still may be the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could make a 4/4 shark. Would that somehow kill me? Don't think so. Leave 2 mana up for the interactive cards if I can find one. Another Shark Typhoon. Okay. And now we're going face. Can they find lethal? There's a lot of cards that would do it. Another oven. I don't think that does it, but they get a draw off their castle. An update is available. Restart Arena. No! 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 Do not mess with this game. Do not mess with this game. Another oven. Okay. Can they stay alive? I don't think so. Well, when they target themselves, I guess we know the score. They're taking the slow road out. Hey, yeah. All right. You want one more round? So be it. Time to go get that update. Hand has Growth Spiral. We will keep it. Don't feel like I've gotten to say that in a while. Our opponent is Rats. Rats is also a content creator and streamer. So we must win. We must dominate this one. We cannot lose position, status, standing in the content creator community. The entire world could crumble. Let's see if there's a mystical dispute. Nope. But we are the first to spiral the dragon. But do we have a reclamation? Rats playing with some elemental flavor, huh? Let's Uro. Blast Zone, interesting. We'll wait and see if our opponent plays another elemental, and then Brazen Borrower the Reef in response once we see what they want to play. It's a Cultivate. Okay. In that case, we don't really need to bounce the elemental. One thing that's fun about Blast Zone is it holds priority. Okay, that's something we can bounce. We can bounce for that. Opponent is set up, though, for Genesis Ultimatum next turn. I suppose our job is to keep using Uro. Four mana available, I guess, makes a shark, but we should get the tap land out of the way. We'll see if our opponent has what it takes to cast Genesis Ultimatum. Our deck's being a little bit mopey. And this is a matchup where we really wish we had counter spells. Instead, they're replaying Risen Reef. Sure. You know their deck is just priming up for, I was going to say an explosion, but that's what I do. Their deck is priming up for like Terror of the Peaks, Genesis Ultimatum nonsense most likely. But there could be a surprise. Solemn. Alright, we're going to let the clock run for a second, like we're thinking about using a counter spell, because one of the best things we can do against them is make them think that their Genesis Ultimatum won't resolve. They don't know that we don't run counter spells. So let's make a Brazen Borrower and start hitting them. What we want to try to do is get to a place where if we draw Wilderness Reclamation, we win the game. That's our goal. Also, we can make a big shark here and then explode the opponent out, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. If we make a 6/6 shark here, I think we're 1 point short. So, do we kill this Risen Reef? I don't think so. Don't think we let the opponent know the situation. Let them have their Reef value, then we're gonna try to cheese them out of the game. If the opponent targets the Borrower here, then there goes our plan. Alright, well, we're going to need at least 2 turns to cheese them out now, or we need to draw Wilderness Reclamation. So maybe I'm just supposed to explode. Right now, any land they play draws a card. I could kill this. Drawing 4 cards. Attack for 6 down to 9. Still not quite there. So big decision. Do we go in with the Shark Typhoon? Is our opponent going to kill us next turn from 26? I don't think so. And they've definitely shown that they're afraid of playing into open mana. So I think we hit them with the Typhoon and keep trying to set up a big explosion. Spiral, okay. Reclamation. Is it enough? We have to pay 4 for the Reclamation and 4 for the explosion. So the total is our total lands after that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No frickin' way. It's Xaxes. Do they run Aether Gust or something? They do. Cards in graveyard, enough to bring an Uro back. Alright, so resolve, put it on top. I'll get it back in the hand. The opponent has to deal with the 6/6 Shark. I don't know why I tapped the Blast Zone for mana. Just to pass priority, I guess. But we're tapped out. Let's see if the opponent can kill us. This deck can do absurd things. We're at 29 life. I'm sure they can draw a bunch of cards. If they still have more Aether Gusts in the deck, that could be what they need to carry them. Here it comes. That didn't look good. I mean, they do still get a ton of triggers. I think good is relative here. If there's another Aether Gust in their deck, I think they will draw it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. I don't know that my Uro on the battlefield is even that good. Just try to make sure we survive and give ourselves another shot to win. Like, they can do nutty things. I can't stress this enough. We have not seen the last of what this deck can do. Lava Coil? Okay. There's only 3 mana left. I think they're going to be a mana short, unless he hasn't played a land yet. I keep saying he, I actually know it's a... I keep saying they, but I actually know it's a he. Just a habit. Okay, he runs a ton of interaction spells. Most of the time you don't see that out of this deck. Alright, do you has another Aether Gust, sir? That looked okay. That looked pretty good. QQ. Seven here, 7 there. Impress me. What you got? Got nothing. Drew all those cards. Got nothing. Rank up game. This is the last shot I'm taking at it today. And our hand is not beautiful. Our opponent has Yorion. So I think the Flame Sweep is already a mulligan because it's a Yorion hand deck. I just don't think this is going to do anything. Okay. Let's put an Expansion Explosion away. I think it'll be a long time before we get to do something with that. No ramp cards. Both on a mulligan to 6. Lanes. He Growth Spiral. Alright. Charming Prince. Before scrying, we're looking for black mana, right? It might be blue-white blink, but usually this means that they're the rat deck. And the rat deck is really annoying for us to deal with. Aggro Prince. Love it. Yeah, I love to see it. There's the black. Treacherous Blessing right frickin' now. Okay. I feel like we're in trouble. Let's get the Master of Time cooking. That can go. That was an easy one. Yeah, we're in trouble. I don't think that making a bunch of 2/2s is very good for us. But I think the land is the least valuable thing. This Teferi isn't even net positive cards. Oh, God. Alright. We could phase this to keep a card in our hand. Is that better than a loot? I think it actually freaking is. Let's wait until this thing targets. Alright. We lose the Teferi, but you can feel it. The slow dissolving of our resources. I guess Uro isn't a bad discard if the opponent wants to make me discard, and we can Shark Typhoon to block a Prince. Monvuli Recluse is pretty much a dead card here. It'd be really nice to block the Fenlurker. Here it comes. Get it off the board so it cannot be blinked. If they pump it, that's a... I mean, I'm fine with that. I don't think they will. Oh, okay. So that's... Like this is a turn that they could have if they wanted to get a Yorion in their hand, and they choose not to there. I am a fan. So, I guess we do this. Drawing both Aether Gusts in a matchup where they're dead Ugh. At least we had the Teferi to turn one into a card. Doom foretold. Hold on. Come on, put a stop. There we go. Alright, so there's two things we can do. We can bounce the Doom foretold with the Borrower and then replay a Borrower and sacrifice that instead of the Recluse. That's our whole turn. Right now, the Doom is going to make us sacrifice the Recluse no matter what. But making them replay the Doom is so good, I think I'm going to bounce it either way. So there's two things we can do. Yeah, how do we want to do this? Let's petty theft you. And do we sacrifice the Borrower? I don't think so. I think we let the Recluse go. Wilderness Reclamation. It's a card. Be aggressive. You may have to burn the opponent out with very low resources this game, but they do have Treacherous Blessing on the field. Okay, we have something to get rid of, so I'm not too afraid here. Will it be another Doom foretold, though? I think we have to play the Borrower to protect our hand if they go for it, and they do. Bye-bye, Brazen Borrower. You did your best. If the opponent has an Elspeth Conquers Death, am I just dead? That's the question, right? Feels like it. I guess we have to get them to hit the Reclamation. So QQ, resolve. 6. Give them a large creature to think about as well. So if they take their turn casting... Yeah, it's probably not easy to deal with this. They would need like Glass Casket and Elspeth Conqueror's Death. Plus this is going to go away to the Doom Foretold anyway. So we're just trying to get there with this Shark. Put enough pressure on them that things are awkward. They buy their Yorion. They still have 4 mana. So no Elspeth Conqueror's Death. We're just going to lose this to the Doom. But then they lose something to Doom too. And this doesn't go off for another turn. Okay. That sucks. A 9. All right, Uro, what you gonna do? That's a card, but the opponent's going to make me discard it. To the Fenlurker. Unless they sack the Fenlurker. Alright. Any other discard effect, though? They still have creatures to deal with. Like, they're not out of the woods. Another Prince. Here's Yorion. Start the Prince loop. It's a good loop. It's gonna be hard for us. At least we have a way to draw some cards. If we draw Reclamation, who knows? Who actually knows what will happen? The opponent does still have Doom Foretold, though. They have to keep that in mind when choosing what to leave on the battlefield. So they just send off 1 Prince. All right, we have to give up Uro. Sucks. Flame Sweep. Okay. Part of the problem is that we're going to have to discard to the Doom Foretold unless we can get all of our opponent's creatures gone. The only way to do that is if they block this shark, I think. So, YOLO. So, let's see. This trigger goes on the stack, but this comes back on end step. So if this comes back and I blow up all their creatures, then they have to lose their Doom Foretold to themselves, right? Right. This is going to be a funky stack. I'm going to mark my end step here because this is going to get whack.
Is catching up to me.
Whack stack confirmed. Let's hold on to this in case they have another discard effect. We want to hang on to the explosion. All right, so this returns. This trigger goes on the stack, chooses a target. If they... Okay, so now this is going to phase out. There's nothing we can do about that. But if we sweep this, then the Doom is gone. All right. There's the ECT, and they have a Yorion coming back, but the ECD, the second ECD won't hit anything. If they don't block, they're dead. But they don't know that. They might be thinking about it, and blocking makes a ton of sense, quite honestly, because they can get it back with Elspeth Conquers Death. Wilderness Reclamation. Is that game? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it's for 8. It's one short. All right. Check yourself before I wreck yourself. They take it. This is a slow roll of sorts, but I don't, no apologies. All right. Nothing on that trigger. Finished it. Holy cow, that game was intense. What a proper end boss. What a proper end boss that was. And we are back for the post-game wrap-up, and not one rank, but 2 ranks for this absolute monster of a deck, which I've grown pretty fond of. The changes I think about. I keep on wondering if Master of Time is right, but then we also saw Master of Time do a lot of good things, and I think the times when it didn't succeed was either there was nothing to be done or I used it incorrectly, such as against Mono Red. So I feel like this card is still a good one, still belongs. The thing that bothers me is sometimes I get hands where it's like a Wilderness Reclamation, a Master of Time, an Explosion, 4 land. I have nothing to do, you know, until turn 4. So that's the one time I think like maybe another 4-drop isn't right for the deck, but he held his own. He did good work. This card is pretty freaking sweet. I really enjoy this card. Wish I had drawn it more. And the mana base, maybe I went a little too low on the red sources. There were a few games that could have been decided by having Flame Sweep available. I mean, when you look at the red source count, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, potentially 13. But that doesn't really tell the whole story. Sometimes you can't passage for a mountain because you have to passage for a forest or else you don't play your Growth Spiral or your Uro. Blast Zone kind of mucks it up. Maybe I'm supposed to add 1 or 2 more Shocklands, but what we're missing from the story is how many games I did not lose because I didn't have to shock. And as you saw, a lot of these games were decided by inches, not miles. So I like the build. Try it out. Let me know if you change things, if it ranks for you, and keep sending it. Like, if you want to post your screenshot of getting to Mythic on Twitter and tag me, that is awesome. It makes my day. Means a lot to me. Congratulations to everybody who gets Mythic with some of the decks that I lose. Heck, you don't have to get Mythic. If you get to Diamond for the first time, or you get to Platinum for the first time with one of my decks and you want to share that and tag me on Twitter, please do. And tell me a bit about it. That's really fun for me. Twitter link is in the description, but it's pretty easy to search for Covert Go Blue and find me if you want to. Thank you for watching this video. Shout out to the Cool Kids Club today. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.